Hello and welcome to the very first edition of Worship Guitar Lab. We're going to have a blast today. Today we're going to be talking about reverbs. Reverb is an amazing effect that when used properly can add an amazing atmosphere to your worship. There's so many great reverb pedals out there. The one that we're going to be using today is by Strymon called the Big Sky. You certainly don't have to have that one to do some of the things we're going to be talking about today. We're going to just be covering the basics, but let's jump right in. The very first of the three types of reverb we're going to cover today is called spring reverb. Spring reverb is really commonly used on the built-in reverb that's on your amplifier. If you just turn up the little reverb dial on your amp, if you have that, that's usually a spring reverb. So spring reverb is generally a really subtle reverb that you'll add to your tone just to give you a little bit of room ambience, just to make it seem like the space you're playing in has a little bit of a real vibe to it. Here's what that sounds like. This is my dry signal. See how there's no echo, no trails, nothing coming off of that. That's just really, the sound stops immediately. Here's what it sounds like with a little bit of spring reverb on it. See that? It's like it's a little bit of slapback. It sounds like you might be playing guitar in a large tunnel or something like that, but it does give you a nice little atmosphere to it. An effect like this could actually be used in some sort of, like if you have more dancey, faster songs, that could be a great option for this. I think using reverbs in the right spaces or for the right songs is really important. So for something like this, there's a song that we play that has an intro that kind of has something similar, like an 80s kind of vibe, something like this. So something real dancey and poppy like that, spring's a great option for something like that. The second type of reverb we're talking about today is room reverb. So room is going to give you a little bit bigger sound. So if you wanted to have an effect of just a little more ambience, just a little more kind of sustain behind your signal, that's when you'd want to use a room. I typically use room reverb to trail behind leads and things like that. If you kind of make it a little more subtle, it can add a nice effect to some leads and solos. Hear that? So it's just a little bit bigger sound. It doesn't have that quick snapback, has just a little more space around it. The third type of reverb we're covering is hall reverb. So just like its name, it sounds like you're playing in a big hall. Sort of hear the fall off on that. So where you might want to use a reverb like this is if you have some really delicate, simple notes. You wouldn't want to probably use this reverb if you're just tearing through a bunch of notes all at once. You'd want to use this if you have a little more simple lines. Most reverb pedals have a little dial called mix, and what that does is it'll mix in your dry guitar signal along with the reverb signal. So if you kind of bring that back and forth, you'll notice either more of your guitar or more of the effect. When you crank that thing all the way to the end, you're going to hear all effect and none of your guitar attack. It'll sound something like this. You hear how you don't really hear much guitar attack, you just hear the effect of the reverb. So if you combine that with a little bit of a swell in, it can sound really great for more worshipful songs, or you want to just add some atmosphere. Well, that about covers the basics of reverb. Make sure you have fun with it, you experiment with the pedal you have and the other pedals and using them in combination. One thing to keep in mind is always ask for feedback. Ask your sound guy, just have conversations with them. Is the reverb that I'm adding too much? Is it helping the song? Get input from other musicians and the sound guy. It can really go a long way. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Send this around to some of your guitar player friends. That'll really go a long way into helping us continue to make more of these in the future. Until next episode, this has been Worship Guitar Lab. Thank you for joining us.